Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning. Hope everyone had a fantastic evening, got some good rest. How is everyone doing today? By the way, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Longer term viewers and subscribers, please like the videos and leave some comments. So, we already see from today retail sales miss. So coming in zero point 0.3 versus zero point 0.4, X autos zero point 0.2 versus zero point 0.9 expected, and X gas and autos coming in at minus zero point 0.4. So that's actually probably going to revise or take the Q1 GDP back below zero in the Atlanta Fed model. So we'll have to see, but we could already be in contraction, even with the first rate hike coming in. FOMC day. Yep, we are here. Morning. Yes, let's have a solid trading day. And if you don't have any good signals, we've had a major run up overnight. See, we have the Fed Watch tool still 96.3% favoring the 25 basis points. So they're not going to shock the market with the 50 basis point. They've already baked that in. By the way, your negative gamma model right now, zero gamma is up to 44.14. So again, remember, negative gamma amplifies the moves. So we could see some continued amplified moves. Again, coming up here, running up through the targets I put out yesterday evening, and then the final target, again, end of clear path. Got to take out some other ones. So we had some good calls yesterday, but coming back into that rotation zone and rotating up nicely. So that's not the end of the clear path. The end of the clear path was technically right there, 43.07. So now we can update this, but I'm expecting choppier market conditions because we have everything on FOMC. We still have, by the way, where is my other window? Remember, we still have economic calendar coming up at 9 Central Time, business inventories and the housing market index. It's going to be minor, but if in choppy conditions, we got to keep an eye on that because it could shift it from either choppy down to choppy up or vice versa. Remember, FOMC 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central is the when they make the announcement. But the bigger thing is 30 minutes later, the press conference. So don't just focus on that. 2 p.m. Eastern release. Really focus on what happens at 2:30. I'm just going to watch right now. If we get back below right around 42.86 in the S&P, I will keep an eye on the bottom or more into the 1 hour rotation zone on a pullback, especially going into the open 4 hour major level is back to 42.55. So if it does drop into the press conference, that's what I am watching between that 4 hour and the 1 hour. Now to the upside, remember we were expecting this. We've already tapped off that end of that clear path move and the top of the daily rotation zone. So next key levels I'm really watching are about 43.37 to 43.46 to the upside. And then where I said there's a possibility that we could return to this longer declining trend line. And so I'd be watching next would be about 43.63. And then if it really got up there on a strong push higher, 43.79, which is also the tops of all these candle bodies. And you know how we watch candle bodies because they have key closes and opens more so than the highs and lows. So that's your, on some massive rally, that's your eventual full target. My always recommendation in this kind of situation is to trail a stop. Is the top in? I don't have a topping signal yet. And we can go down. We have this, the only topping signal from earlier was this mini double top on the 15-minute, but that's just for a short-term pullback. I mean, that's not a long-term top in place. So you can use those little targets for a pullback on the open, but long-term, we'd have to come down and make another topping signal or a divergent signal or something else. If you start doing the pullbacks, remember a bigger pullback today, you can put on your retracement harmonics. And if we do drop, especially below this 42.54 and accelerate to the downside, your watch the 50% level, or even through follow through tomorrow, 42.23, and now your critical line in the sand right at this moment is about 4,200. Now if you make new highs, these levels shift to the upside. Let's see who is here. Good morning, Sashi. Good morning, Amit. Hey, Josh. Hey, Tesla Force. Chinese stocks have gone from boom to bust overnight. Yeah, looks like there was a pretty substantial intervention. The biggest one-day up move in some of the indices. It's the kind of markets we're in. And again, even in our markets, you'll see these, and that was an intervention move. URA, we'll take a look at that again. Very bullish on uranium. Good morning, options. Baba, yeah, this is all Chinese. You know, this is just money being pumped in. It looks like a rescue plan. And again, I don't think it's long-lived. I think it's short-lived. But again, in these kind of conditions with what's going on, especially in the financial world around there, we're going to see some, I think we're going to see some interesting defaults coming up over the next couple months. You have the progressing supposed peace talks between Ukraine and Russia. We'll actually see if that manifests. I mean, I think Russia needs to put something on the table to pause it, and then they'll resume. I don't trust anything that's coming out of that, but that's why we trade the price action, because this was not an unexpected rally. NASDAQ, again, little double top if you're following along at home. Give me this. Don't pull up the whole thing. We will do our next targets, but here's your little double top that's also triggered. So this is just watching for that final pullback area. Already first and second targets hit. Just showing you how that works. That way we got the pause coming back that 1 hour. Really, if we keep following, I'm watching about 13,524, bottom of the 1 hour rotation zone. Same thing on here. Put up your harmonics. And on a bigger pullback, key line in the sand is about 13,330. And then tipping back negative would be 13,238. Long way off. Though 4 hour is coming. I'd be focused again about on a bigger pullback. Intraday, I'd be focused on about 13,500, 13,517 with the rising 4 hour rotation zone. To the upside now. Has not hit the top of the rotation zone like the S&P, but that's where the next harmonic and rotation zone line up. So 13,821, and then my next target up here would be prior significant level 13,887 to 13,914 with the declining trend line. So those are the key levels in the NASDAQ. Dow, remember we still had this double in place, hitting that 33,815 target. I'm just using these targets and pausing right here. I'm watching, again, the 1 hour rotation zone, so keep that in mind on your charts. Again, the top, this, in case anybody's new here, the yellow line is 8 EMA, the blue line is 21 EMA, and we watch for rotations, especially closer to the bottom of the blue line. The target, next target, 34,036 and 34,256. I will not be ignoring, though, this 34,150. How's it look on the bigger picture with the Dow? You see this 34,256, also the declining 50, and it's above the rotation zone. So if we get a daily close above there, I will be targeting back to the 50. Other than that, again, you can always put your harmonics up on here for the retracement play, and I'd actually go off the most recent one on the Dow just for that 50% pullback level. The 62%, I'm watching the whole run up at the 50% level. I'm focusing on 33,215. Russell's still just caught in this range. If we do rally, about 2,000 is the first area, then 2020. Key support coming in about 1933. DAX moving up, bouncing off our 13,000. What are we? 14,300 significant level and pulling back a bit. Next target would be 14,510. Crude trying to still put in a base here. So that's what I'm really watching today. Trying to get that base. This double pattern still in play. You see stalling out twice at this first target on a closing basis on the 1 hour. But really, if it gets another push higher, I'm focused on this 100 to 130, and then above there, I'm watching the remaining of the clear path to about 102.50. The key support now is about 95. 95. So I'm watching that on a closing basis, a 1 hour closing basis. We start breaking below that, I will continue to watch for that bigger pullback, but this is trying to put in a base. The other thing above this 100 area, I said that 102.50, you can start watching, just pay attention to the top of the 4 hour rotation zone, because if you get a close above there, we could see the bigger retracement. And the 50% level from this decline is back to 112. Gold still could not get down to the next target lower. Still watching, especially if we rally back in the broad market again for another push lower. However, a short-term play would be back. Remember, we could be short-term bullish, long-term with a bigger pullback above 1936. You have some choppy price action, 1936 to 1942 on any rally. Silver had this little double bottom pattern, so we could, this one never triggered, but this one has triggered. So these are, again, longer term, I am very bullish on silver, but this hasn't even been able to hit the first target yet. And overall, we're still in the bigger head and shoulders pattern, bouncing off the first level with this little bottoming pattern. So even this double could still play out and roll over again. Notes, pushing below yesterday's lows. This double is now off the table, which never confirmed or triggered. So still my next push lower is 124 even from the harmonic. Let's see, dollar index. Still, we do have a potential double top in play, so I'm keeping an eye on that. What else do we have? We have uranium, URA. Uranium little pop. Again, I'm just longer term bullish. My levels I'm using didn't quite get down to my buy cluster here. Already added on the breakout play, and again, this is trading around a core position. So again, on another pop, my next target back to the upside was 24.44. Then I'm watching back to 26.21. Then above there, 28.08. Key support coming in for me, 22.35 to about 22.60 area. But it looks like it's popping up a little here. Other than that, uranium is just a very long-term play for me. Pulling back, looks like it might get the first cross the rotation zone again on the weekly, depending on where we close. But this also here with the volumes, I really watch the volumes on these, because you see run up with strong volume, pull back, the volume dropping. This run, see, you get a lot of pullbacks with lower volume. Got a lot of run-ups before with higher volume, pullback with lower volume, and this is really pushed down on lower volume when the buying dries up. Longer term, that's why it still is bullish. What would change that? There's no change for me unless we got back below 17 from a core trading position. Let's see. We'll take a look at BABA. I think these moves will evaporate also. BABA, we're back down to 76. Pre-market 92. Didn't even bother updating the harmonics. Let me take off these volumes real quick. We don't need them right now. But that's just back to the daily rotation zone. And you see how overdone it got. And 10, it's not even back to the weekly yet, which is 100. So even on these rallies, even on something back to 110, it's just returning to the declining rotation zones and prior support becoming major resistance. And I just watch for another rollover play. And these will be some great, this is fantastic price action, by the way, because I will watch, not necessarily today, but for gap fill plays on these to the downside. So that's your BABA. Baidu. I don't really do much with Baidu, but again, your major support. Take off some of these prior stuff. You can see I haven't looked at it on this platform in forever. But Baidu again, 125.18, not even back to the daily rotation zone, even on a rally to 136. That's just returning this prior major support becoming resistance. And you also have the weekly rotation zone. So this would be another, hey, gap up and then a gap and crap play. So to getting out of very oversold, but again, these are just short term. If you wanted to try to trade it, it would be for me very short term trades only, and not even. I think there's still risk in holding overnight, so they'd be pretty much only day trades. At what level would you say the lows are in for the year on ES? What level would I say? Well, I'd have to go with the probabilities. And woo, that would be interesting. We'd have to get a close above about 45.50 area. So we're a long way off from there. Remember, you can have massive rallies and everybody thinks everything's done. You could even have rallies to 44.40. That's right around the gamma flip area and rolling over. Again, I have so many systems that have long-term sell signals that are highly reliable. Yeah, can anything be whipsawed? Sure. But I have to go with the long-term stuff, and that doesn't mean you have rallies. I've been following some of this stuff since the 90s, and we had those massive rip-your-face-off rallies in the .com on, it rallied up. You still never got a long-term buy signal, and then just cratered lower. My first warning sign would be above that, about you have to go from the whole decline. So if you're tracking this at home, the whole decline, the probabilities don't shift until above the 62.5% on a closing basis, which would be 45.44 at this level. That's why it's, these are still short term. Again, I was short term watching for this bounce move, but long term, it's another rollover play. And those are off the table. So Coinbase, slight little bounce. So Coinbase that's nothing I actively look to trade because I think long term it's crap. But little rally, prior resistance 163. And then even on a rally back to about 170, I just watch for another rollover play with this. Again, longer term. You can see breaking down from the major support level, coming down here, returning their weekly rotation zone, rotating down. So now your weekly rotation zone is back to 181. So even on a little rally back to 181 is nothing. And by the way, this is no long-term double because it's a triple bottom. So there's nothing on the radar screen besides you can get bullish bounces in these. And there's no even short-term double here because it's not reversing a big enough move. Now, if it does get above this 179, you could even see 194 potentially, which would just take it into the weekly rotation zone. But I don't trade stuff like that because at any point you can roll over and you have to be spot on with your timing. Could silver be developing a potential 4-hour double bottom? Yeah, it could. If you want to know where that would look like, you'd be watching above 25.23, and that could easily still, because look at this, it's only hit the first target. That could take it back to the neckline and then roll over again. And it just depends. I'm long-term bullish, so this is not sell signals for me. These are watching for areas to buy, as I said before. So 24.77 was the first area we're watching for the bottoming pattern. And yes, you could be getting it. Here you have a clear path move right back to, this neckline area. On a rollover again, my next major target is this 24.29. That's the major target on another pullback. Why? You got the 200, you got the 50, you got a secondary target, and we have some pausing price action right around there. So Again, these markets, we still aren't in breakout mode. So you have to be prepared at gold and silver for this back and forth price action. That's why I love to add and take some off. Add, take some off. And then if we do break out of this major consolidation, I go with the runs and you just get, that didn't sound right. Go with the bullish move and then add more aggressively on returns to the shorter term rotation zones. With that, let's just peek at the markets. Oh, let me look at Tesla. I think Tesla, again, gap up. That's not surprising. Here's the little stuff on Tesla. You're into a clear path move. So again, you could we're up at the daily rotation zone, but the next major target, if it does run higher, I'd be watching 829, then 842. And again, long term, this isn't even back to the daily. 842 would be my major targets for any bullish plays, not necessarily today, because I'd be watching for the roll over again up there. So these are, again, short-term bullish bounces, long-term rollover plays. With that, I'm going to wrap it up. Everybody have a fantastic trading day. And I will, yeah, you know, when you say something and you realize, uh-oh, that didn't come out quite right. You guys have a fantastic trading day. We will do a market overview where we will digest everything the Fed said and prepare ourselves again for overnight trading this afternoon. So manage your stops. My recommendation from educational purposes only are to trail. Don't, you know, you can always unwind stuff. I do like to take profits off the table, but then eventually I just trail out and let the price action take me out. You are welcome, Sterling. Have a fantastic trading day, everyone. Bye for